If you've been trying to lose weight, even made big changes to your diet and your activity level, and you're still not seeing the results you want, then our next guest might just have the answer that you've been looking for. Our good friend Dr. Zach Parker from West Texas Wellness Center is here today to share some information with us for the total blueprint for weight loss, also the 5 major metabolic factors that keep most of us from being able to lose weight effectively and then keep it off. One major factor, Dr. Parker, and this is when you talk about all the time, is toxicity in the body, right? And that can really cause some problems when we're talking about weight loss.
Absolutely, and unfortunately it's one of those things for a lot of people. When they decide to make changes, they make a lot of changes as what they're eating and their exercise habits, and then they get on the scales a week or two later and nothing, and they're frustrated. And so what do? We throw our hands up.
Cake? Doc, that's what you do.
That's it. We just give it up, we throw our hands up, and we decide to go the other way. And a big factor for that is, though, part of the reason that doesn't move the scales a lot of times is because our body is going through dealing with toxicities and some of these issues. And so usually the liver has to break down the fat, and so if it's not in a healthy state, it won't break it down effectively. But another toxicity that we have to also deal with is one called Candida, and a lot of people are are just they're not aware of it. They don't have any idea. So many people struggle with cravings of sugar and carbohydrates, and that's a really big issue for them. And a lot of that is actually not them, but it's actually Candida in our system that's what it thrives on. And so a lot of people have developed Candida as a byproduct of eating a lot of sugar or eating a lot of carbohydrates. The typical American diet promotes it. And so Candida is actually an infection, a yeast infection that oftentimes is developed from eating too much of these things. But also
thrives in those moist conditions where it's the carbs and sugar, right?
Yes, ma'am. Warm and moist conditions. So there's some easy, simple tests that we do because it's easy to find in the mouth a lot of times. We usually think of it as things like a baby as thrush or something like that. Those are typically when we think of a Candida infection or something of that nature, or a yeast infection. But these are actually internally, and it begins to affect our digestive system.
Can cause major problems, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. The Candida burrows into the stomach and actually can affect the stomach lining of the stomach wall, and so that allows larger particles and undigested food particles to be able to pass into the gut, and that can cause, like we've talked about before, leaky gut syndrome, and that can cause large inflammatory processes in the body. It can affect the neurotransmitters. It will affect our mood, affect our brain function, can give us foggy thinking, cause a lot of allergies, a lot of aches and pains in the body. But one of the big things is it also causes weight gain. And the new research just last year out of Rice University, they actually found that in average cases where someone has Candida infections, the average weight associated with those infections can be 32.5 pounds.
Did y'all hear that? 32.5 pounds of additional weight. That's crazy.
It
That's
is.
A massive number.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. And so as we begin to address Candida and make dietary changes so we don't continue to feed and so the Candida can thrive, but we actually have some very specific things to help kind of kill the Candida off, then we begin to see energy levels improve. We begin to see weight really begin to improve. We begin to see people clear thinking, sinuses clear up, all kinds of things. But the cravings for sugar and carbs drastically reduce once we begin to eradicate the Candida. But it's a very hard thing to do. And if you don't completely eradicate it, then it's very easily for it to begin to repopulate. It does multiply very quickly, and so it can restore very fast.
Well, very interesting. People can learn a little bit more about Candida, about all of these weight loss options. You've got a special consultation for our friends that are watching the show right now, right?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. And so for any of the Studio 4 viewers, our consultation for our weight loss blueprint for weight loss program is normally $49. If anyone would like to call in, take advantage of that consultation, we'll do it absolutely free for any of the Studio 4 listeners. If they just call first 7 callers, we'll do that for absolutely free. And we can find out this factor and many others that are inhibiting people from being able to lose the weight and get the success they want.
I love it. Really, really interesting stuff. West Texas Wellness Center is where you can learn more. Give them a shout, 352-1500, and we've got that number over on myhighplains.com. Doc, as always, we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back after this, guys.